It's so sad, I cruise through social media every day and see these people talking about how we should protect South China Sea from the Chinese and from these people, from everyone. But yet, yung sarili natin batas, hindi nila masundan. Kung mahal mo ang bansa mo, hindi lang sa Facebook yan. It's what you do every day. Every developed country, before it became a developed country, it had to go through a period of chaos and self-cleansing.
Boss Hans, araw-araw, you see what we do, clearing operations, sidewalk clearing. Give us two characteristic or pag-uugali na nakikita mo sa mga violators and why?
Number one, the victim mentality. Lagi silang biktima. Sila nang gumawa ng mali, sila pa biktima. And I think that's not just the violators. I think that's a self-preservation technique that us Filipinos are very, very good at, be it social media or in person. So, and I think if you guys want change, you need to change that.
Tama.
Nobody owes you guys anything. You're a product of your own decision. So that's one. Number two, walang pagmamahal sa bansa.
That's very deep actually.
It's so sad. I cruise through social media every day and see these people talking about how we should protect South China Sea from the Chinese and from these people, from everyone. But yet, yung sarili natin batas, hindi nila masundan. And where does love for country start? It's respecting the laws of the land. Tapos ibe-blame mo ibang tao na inaapi tayo, samantalang ikaw hindi mo mahal ang sarili mong bansa. That's such a double standard. Kung mahal mo ang bansa mo, hindi lang sa Facebook yan. It's what you do every day. Pagtapon ng candy sa kalsada, yung uminom ka ng Coke na may plastic, yung may straw.
Oo.
Kala ko ng toyo yun. Pero straw pala, soft drinks pala. Tapos may tatapon. Ilagay mo sa bulsa mo, guys. Kaya may dalang backpack di ba? Simple as that. And then they blame flood control for the baha.
Pero may mga simpleng bagay which contributes to it.
Which contributes to it.
Hindi nila nakikita na.
Not saying there's no corruption. I'm saying it all starts with us. And it's really sad to see our kababayans keep blaming others for shit that they do themselves.
Sabi nga nila, when you point your fingers, one finger is pointing out, but
Four
four
fingers,
of it are pointing back to you.
Yep.
Diba?
Yep.
Sa nakikita mo ba, in your own perception, or do you think hopeless ba ang pagbabago, especially sa kalsada?
No. Because people know what they did wrong. If people did not know what they did wrong, that's hopeless. But they do it. They just choose not to do it. And I think we have to incentivize people to do the right thing. If it has to start with that. Or maybe we just have to penalize people enough so that people will do the right thing.
Para magtanda, no?
But if you look at the history of every country, every developed country, before it became a developed country, it had to go through a period of chaos and self-cleansing. Singapore had Lee Kuan Yew. Germany had Hitler, as controversial as it may sound. China, as unpopular as it may be, had Deng Xiaoping, had Chairman Mao Zedong, and now has Xi Jinping. Look at where they are now. Look at where we are. We're so good at criticizing other countries for the wrong that they do. But we're so bad at looking at ourselves and saying, what can we adapt to make it right? None.
That's something na we have to reconsider and think about it. Kasi sinasabi nila ang pagbabago or the changes, dapat yan, kumbaga, there's no sacrifices. But in every change, there's always sacrifices.
There's always sacrifice. Sabi ko nga, before, as graphic as it may sound, ang pigsa, bago gumaling yan, masakit.
Masakit. Tama.
Lalaki hanggang magkamata, and then puputok, and then yung ginhawa. But you have to go through that process. And sad to say, our kababayan sometimes, with social media, they're so easy to get drawn into the emotion. But we have to learn to get past that emotion. Kasi ang emotion, madaling i-justify. Pero mahirap panindigan. Right?
Tama yan.
Tama.
Tama.
In passing nadala lang ako Really? Bakit? Wala silang masagot. Right? So don't let emotion drive your decision. You have to think. And I think Filipinos are very capable of thinking because we have a lot of kababayans that have prospered overseas when given the right ecosystem.
Kumbaga the environment.
Environment.
It plays a big role talaga.
Huge role. At one time I went to a speech that Bill Gates' dad made. He's a lawyer, and he's a big proponent of paying inheritance tax. So, me being the dumbest person in the room, sabi ko, why do you think inheritance tax is such a big deal for you? And he said, it's our due bill to society. I said, why is it your due bill to society? Sabi niya, if my son was raised in Kenya, he would not have the same opportunity as he did in the US. So now that he made billions of dollars, when it passes on, he has to pay tax on that because it's the conducive environment sa US that made him rich. So yan ang utang niya sa society na kailangan mong bayaran.
Kumbaga one way or another, it's part of our responsibility.
Responsibilidad. And dito naman sa atin, paano ipapatong yung responsibilidad na yun sa mga may pera kung wala namang nabibigay na tamang oportunidad dito. We have a lot of talented Filipinos that go abroad and do very well. But yet when they're here, let's give them an opportunity.
Tama. Something that we have to think
I
about.
hope someday.
Okay, we're down to the last 3 questions. Boss Hans, pagpipiliin ka, public transportation or private vehicle?
Public transportation.
Public transportation. If you are given a chance to improve one thing in our society, what will that be?
Ugali ng tao.
And last, your best advice to the public.
Guys, love your country. I have a lot of friends that have visited our country. And for the longest time, they were under the impression that we live in huts. Nakatira tayo sa bahay kubo. And majority of them, when they come visit, the first thing they said is, "You're so lucky." We go, why? An hour away, you have the mountains. 45 minutes away, you have the ocean. You're blessed with 11 months of sun, 12 months actually, all throughout the year. You have a very gracious and happy culture. You guys are very lucky. And these are people who live in Europe, who live in developed countries, who have everything. But yet they come to the Philippines and they say, you guys are lucky. We don't have this there. But yet, tayo, we disregard that. And it's sad. So I think that's I think the advice I would give to people who are watching, mahalin niyo yung bansa natin. It's not about politics. It's not about sino uupo, sino yung matatanggal, sino yung paparusahan. That. Bleep mo na lang. That. Right? It's about you. Mahalin niyo yung bansa. Doon tayo mag-umpisa. Tsaka tayo mag-usap.
So yun, no? So new ideas, new perceptions, new thoughts, something that we have to tinker on, mga panibagong ideas, and words of wisdom. So
I'm the last person that you would think that's wise, but okay. I take that as a compliment.
So yun tayo, new take on things. Once again, with the one and only Boss Hans King Panda.
Thank you,
Alright,
boss.
thank you, boss.